The dead hand we're going to talk about this morning. The rule against perpetuities in property law states that no interest in property is valid unless it must vest, if at all, within 21 years of a life in being at the time of the interest. Now, that's a complicated rule against perpetuities, and that's what we're going to talk about in politics. There's no rule against perpetuities, and maybe there needs to be. Welcome, come on in. It's the Charles Van Morgan Show, the beautiful American flag. So we're gonna talk this morning. We'll head right down to our signature location. We got an interesting information about some stuff that happened at that bridge. A convicted murderer was actually caught on that very bridge that we're going to. And we're going to talk about today how the dead hand, we need to keep the dead hand from controlling our government, our politics. There's a rule against it in property law that if you're dead, you can't control property forever. It's called the dead hand. You can't keep property under your control from the grave. I mean, you have 21 years for your interest to vest in somebody else, or if it doesn't, then you don't control things. So there's a certain amount of time. Wills work, and that's fine, but you can't will and have your hand in people's lives that are alive forever. The dead hand needs to go. So that's what we're going to talk about this morning. And in politics, wow, the dead hand controls, and they make it control. These people want power long after they're dead, when it doesn't even matter to them. I mean, that's how power mongers, how gluttonous they are. They want to control the world when they're not even here, that it even affects them. By one way is willing their property, and then willing their property to the next person and keeping a hand in it, and the person they've willed it to, don't even want them to have a hand in it sometimes. And there's a rule in property law, a rule against perpetuities. If a property, interest in property is not valid unless it must vest, if at all, within 21 years of a life in being at the time. So you can't just keep putting your will on society from the grave in property and in politics. The dynasties go on to perpetuity. People well since dead controlling politics in their favor and making rules and laws that they don't even have to live with anymore. Some of them that aren't even practical anymore in today's world of high tech. So we got a lot of law enforcement present out here. So I don't know what's up with that, but hello. But we will get the heck out of here. So get to our signature location. So we're going to talk about the dead hand in power in the state of Tennessee. One of them is Governor High Bills Lee, is appointed 4 of the 5 Tennessee Supreme Court justices by somebody that's on the council to recommend them to him, that was formerly in his cabinet and formerly associated with Bill Lee. So long after he's out of office in just a few months, even the next governor, whoever it is, Marsha Blackburn, you most likely, and if we can wake up 3.5 million people, an arduous task, then we'll be in the governor's office. subject to, unless we can quell it, the dead hand. And the dead hand is Governor Bill Lee controlling the judiciary well after he's gone. And that is a high probability, a high likelihood. But knowing the cards that the deck is stacked with from the dead hand gives you a little advantage. So we're going up, and you're going up right now against the people in power's dead hand. They rigged the system, right their wills to government power, essentially. And even long after they're gone, they still control things. Their dirty, their pathetic sickness and gluttonous rules and regulations and their power mongers still control the rule of law and politics long after they're gone. And we need to put a stop to that. And one way is being aware of it, the dead hand. People that are long past gone, that have done some wicked, atrocious things, that are even in the grave now, still control how we live today. From the damn grave, their wicked goes on. Now they're in heaven or hell getting rewards or punishment for that. But while they were on the earth, they set rules that we can almost never get rid of, and we will never get rid of them. We're doomed unless we realize it, that the dead hand's controlling. These people set up systems that are in place after they're gone. Wicked as hell, they're gluttonous. Let the new generation, new technology, the people on the planet now, get your dead hand off of us. Get your rigged court systems that are rigged by people that ain't even there the hell away from us. We're not going to tolerate that anymore. Impeachments and pointing the rogue decisions out from the judiciary after the governor's gone, and criminal charges against people in government power is a way to get rid of it. The dead hand that controls politics long after Governor Bill Lee's dead is going to be taking place in the Tennessee court system right now, because Governor Lee's appointed 4 of the 5 Tennessee Supreme Court unjustices, if I may say. Now, they don't like me saying that, and that's the reason I say it. One reason I say it's because it's the damn honest to God's truth, not taking God's name in vain, it is. It's a theme throughout the Bible: unjust judiciary, unjust judges, unjust kings. It's not something that ought to catch us blindsided. You ought to look out and be aware of that if it's taking place. Now, it doesn't always take place. There are some just judges in Tennessee, but they're subject right now to an unjust system, a stacked court by the corrupt, crooked Governor Bill Lee. I don't care what he says. He holds Christian in front of his name, a banner, and a lot of people told me they voted for him because he was a Christian man and his Christian values. Although he's gone against everything that he said he would do when he ran for governor, uncover wrong wherever he finds it to correct it. He hasn't done that. He hasn't done it all. He's perpetrated the dead hand of predecessors before him, a former governor before him, Bill Haslam. He's helped Bill Haslam's dead hand. He's not even in power, and he's still running the government right now. That needs to stop. And I'm thankful. Hopefully, maybe I made a slight difference. I don't know. But he was trying to help a mayor candidate, and I won't even say his name anymore. Campaign's over. Try to win the mayor's office here in Knox County, to try to have a hand, his dead hand, in the mayor's race here in Knoxville. The candidate that he was on television promoting didn't win, and I put it out. Don't vote for him. Simply because if Bill Haslam is nominating them, promoting them, advertising for them, it's not for the good of the public. It's because he wants his pocket in Knox County's hand to control the government from the dead, really. He's not dead, but having power symbolically while he's not in office, because he wants to control the mayor's office for whatever he wants done in Knox County, and he didn't get it done, thank goodness. That dead hand didn't survive. And let me say very clearly, so no one gets me wrong, for the main reason, because I'm a peace-loving person. This is a political fight. It is not a fight of bullets. Hello, got a lot. It's not a fight of bullets or a physical fight of blood. It's a political fight. So no violence. No violence. Truth speaking. And the main method is voting. Voting. And we won that vote evidently because the mayor candidate, that former Governor Haslam, yeah, look at, man, a lot of people. Former Governor Haslam wants to have the dead hand in power when he's not. These people run the government when they're not even in the government. They can hide behind the scenes secretly and do horrendous, awful, horrible things from behind the curtain that nobody can find, paying their henchmen that they help put in office, and running your lives, ruining people's lives, which is what they do. Now they claim, they're politicians, they claim that they're not, that they're doing wonderful things. They are doing wonderful things. Yeah, I said that. Bill Haslam's doing wonderful things for himself. He's doing wonderful things for himself. Not you, not you or me or anybody else. How do you think he accumulated millions and millions of dollars? He's a billionaire.
Wait.
And how do you think he accumulated all that damn money? By paying people fair wages? Hell no. And he tried to control the governor's office. And he does control the governor's office right now. He helped Bill Haslam. Let's get across this road. Got a lot of people in here. Thank you all very much. And like and share, keep this message out. We're talking about the dead hand if you're just joining us. How people not even in power are really in power from the grave. And some of them not dead, and I don't promote any violence because, so that's the reason why I said this is a political war, not a war of violence. Because I don't want any violence and perpetrated in any manner at all. I want to perpetrate people getting off their seat, going to the polls and voting. 3.5 million people can get rid of the dead hand. If you just go down to the polls and vote these people out, that stops their dead hand. That's our rule against perpetuities, is voting. It works wonders, and they know it. That's the reason why they try to put me in the grave and ruin my credibility. So because I'm going to end their dead hand, I'm fighting to end it. You don't run the government from the back damn seat, and then even after you're dead, continue to ruin people's lives for your own entourage's benefit. And they set it up just like that. And it is wonderful how they do it for themselves. It's not wonderful for you. I mean, how's it going? Price of food, price of gas, cost of living, finding a place to live. How's it going for you? I mean, you know, if it's going good for you, maybe this is the wrong channel. I quite frankly don't think that it is. It's worse than it's ever been in my entire lifetime. The horrific cost of living has skyrocketed and it's still going up. Now they blamed COVID before. What are they going to blame some more? Maybe they'll invent another virus. I don't know. What I'm saying is no violence, voting, and also for law enforcement. I'm not going to say anything violent against people, TBI, FBI, Secret Service, Knoxville Police, Knox County Sheriff's Department. That's another story going on today. I'm a peaceful person. This is a political, nonviolent campaign speaking the truth to power to all the Tennesseans. Way more of us than you. Way more. You're going to get clobbered at the polls, hopefully, is my goal not to do any kind of violent thing, and that's the just and fair way to do it. The way the dead hand does it is dirty, crooked, and violent as hell. These people are violent and dangerous. I know for a fact, didn't read it on Google or in a newspaper article, that has a slant, or AI that has a slant, and AI will lead you down crooked, wrong things. You read their script and it's just so intelligently written. If you ask it a question, it'll come up with the things that it reads, that's written by the dead hand. People that write these articles slant you in a way, and then AI picks it up and goes with it, builds on it, and makes the dead hand even more brilliant. So that's why I don't trust AI. You could use AI, put in your information that tells the truth in spite of AI's objection. It'll tell you, you can tell it something that you know you've seen in real life, in real time. You've experienced it. And it'll tell you, don't believe your lying eyes. That's not true. This is what I read off such and such page. What you're saying is wrong, but you can say, but I've seen that, and it'll tell you not to do that. It hides the truth in favor of well-documented, well-established, their credibility, which is about as credibility as a poisonous snake that comes up to you and wants you to pet it. Don't pet it. Their credibility, and it'll lead you, and it'll tell you, and even solidify that even more, and beautify it up even more. When you see it and you say, that can't be true, and it'll get you to believe it if that's what you want to believe. I'm telling you, don't believe artificial intelligence. It can be assistance. Believe your lying eyes, because they tell you the truth. If that's what AI wants you to think, that it's your lying eye. Because believe it, because what you see and what you really feel and experience in life is the real reality. Don't let anybody deceive you into that. Don't let the dead hand control you or the future. Stick to the truth. It's hard to do these days. Hard to do. I have noticed since being on this channel, and even since running for public office, but it doesn't matter to me, people think it matters, that they are avoiding me. I think people are, some of them are, that some people that I thought were friends, and some of them were associates, people that I just knew, that I thought were good, God-fearing, decent person for the most part. Now there were signs, and now they avoid me, which, hey, thank you very much. I gotta tell you to get the hell out of my life, fake people. Just because, you can put me on the desert island. I'll still know the truth, and I'll put a message in a bottle. I'll get the message out. It doesn't matter. You can isolate me all the damn hell you want to. It's not gonna matter to me. I'll put John 3:16, my message and location in a bottle, and try to get found by somebody that believes it. You're not gonna quell this message. Been around too long, got too many damn scars, real scars that really hurt for a real long time. Some of them are lingering to shut my mouth. It's not gonna happen. It's just a done deal. The only thing you can do is get your damn dead hand out of my life and everybody else's life that you're trying to control when you're not even in power anymore. And they do that all the time in politics, and that's something that needs to stop. The political dynasties. People ain't even in power anymore, and we honor them like they're some kind of God, like they made every right decision, and they're not even justifiably judged. Some of them are dead and gone, and nobody ever speaks against the dead. How dare you? They're not here to defend themselves. Their record is here. I can read their damn record, and it's dirty and nasty as hell what it did to people. And the economy and things now, it's the result of the dead hand. The dead hand is causing the mass poverty all across the United States, all across the state of Tennessee. To a large extent, people in power now are facilitating that, and they're going to pass the dead hand. When they're dead, it's going to be on to their political dynasties, and we need to get rid of that. The cost of living right now, if you think about it and consider this, we have technology now unheard of in my lifetime. I mean, when I was growing up, we had outhouses. I didn't have a bathroom. I had an outhouse, a hole in the ground way away from the house. That's what we had when I was growing up, when I was a child. And we didn't even have a telephone. Landlines were an advancement, were major technological advancement that you could pick up a phone and through a wire communicate with somebody that wasn't there. That was a major advancement. Now a landline is, wow, that's way outdated. You got to pick up a phone with the cord. And if somebody would have told me when I was growing up that someday you'll have a cell phone that's got more technology than what landed on the moon, and you'll be able to walk down the road and film to millions of people putting out the truth of the love of Jesus Christ, John 16, and the truth of the corrupt people, the dead hand in power, and it reached millions of people, I would have thought, man, that spaceship that time, what the hell? There's no way that can happen. Yeah, there is. And the advancement in travel and communication, knowledge used to double every 100 years. And advance in knowledge. And now, it's advancing, doubling almost every year, depending on the area of study. It's doubling about every year, advancement in knowledge. It's increasing so fast. And my point is, back years ago, before they had the gas engine that a lot of environmentalists would like to get rid of and put us back in before the 1900s, when they had a lot of starvation, the gas engine, and before that stuff. Yeah, thank you. Well, I got a lot of fans. Before the gas engine, people went hungry. The gas engine has helped plant food. And you look at the advancement in technology today, and the cost of food went down for a period of time because of advancement in technology. Knowledge about how to grow, knowledge about fertilizers, knowledge about how to grow food, knowledge about transportation, easier. So the knowledge has doubled, and it's doubling about every year. So the cost of living, the cost of food with technology and modern information and knowledge should be going down. With automated equipment, it costs less to make the same thing that it did 10 years ago. We ought to be getting more for less. So the cost of things skyrocketing. There's some more fans. Thank you all. The cost of things skyrocketing is a man-made setup system. It's actually lower to live nowadays. And you say, no, it's not. Are you crazy? No, listen to what I'm saying. It costs less to live now than it did years ago because of modern technology. But we pay more now because of things like the dead hand. There's somebody reaping a huge major benefit. And this isn't philosophical, this is math. Somebody reaping a huge benefit got their hand in your pocket that's raping the system, and they're paying less and you're paying more, and they're getting the difference. There's no reason that you should be paying as much for fuel, as much for gasoline, as much for electricity, as much for food. It costs less to make all that stuff. There is no way modern technology that we have, making things easier to make, faster, quicker with technology, even fertilizers improved where they can grow more stuff on a smaller amount of land faster. And irrigation, they make food for way less than they did even 10 years ago, and are able to make more and better food. Why are you paying more for it? It's because they have figured out how to keep a dead hand in power, to keep them in power. And they are so gluttonous, they're not even good for themselves. They don't even need all their excess. They got it in bank accounts that ought to be being spread and used across society. But you pay more for what costs way less. So there's somebody in the middle, got their hand out there getting all that, paying the less already for themselves, but then they're making you pay more, and they're getting the difference. And it's a huge whopping difference. And that is substantiated by modern technology. Makes things cheaper, a lot cheaper. If things were set up in government the way they should, fair and just without the dead hand, you would be living for less money. It would cost you less and you would have more. That's the way it should be. It should be that way. The cost of living should be going down or at least staying the same. It's went up 33% in the past few months. It's higher than since COVID was the only higher, and it's on the way up still. It is not just a normal sequence of life. Things just have to go up. No, things are going down. The wrong reason is because people in government are getting more and more corrupt, taking more, being gluttonous, and still paying the bottom line that they should pay. They're paying less and less for things because things cost less. They're paying the bottom line. They don't pay a fair price. They get the price that it is, which is rock bottom right now. Rock bottom. There's no real inflation. The inflation is wicked people, corrupt people in government power, running it for themselves and reaping all this excess. The proof's in the pudding. The differentiation between the super rich and the poor has greatly expanded. There is the separation, meaning you have less money now. The poor, middle class, and even upper income have less money now than you did 10 years ago. And the super rich, the billionaires, the has-beens, the people that run the government, that set the system up, and people that set the system up for the people that are setting the system up now that are dead and gone, and some of them are dead as far as not even in public office. And I'm not saying to kill any of them. I'm just telling you the way it is. No violence, sense. Wake up, Tennessee, wake up, America. Things should be less. They are setting a system up, a system of injustice, and reaping benefits of the technology boom that makes things cost less because they're paying less, and sticking their hand in there and so gluttonous that they're even getting more, skyrocketing the price of things. And that's why you're paying more, because they got their hand in the bucket, robbing it, raping it, and some of them aren't even in government power anymore. You can't even vote them out. And that's what's so wicked about the dead hand. In property law, the rule against perpetuities, RAP, prevents the dead hand, somebody that's deceased, from controlling property for 21 years if it doesn't vest within 21 years. There's no rule of perpetuity. In politics, boy, people been dead for 100 years. Some of them wicked as hell, still controlling politics because they passed it on to their dynasty. Now, I don't agree with everything that the No Kings protesters are for. And you can't get 10 people in a crowd to agree with everything. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about the principle, and they need to be doing more, and some of them are, than stand out publicly protesting. But I've met some of them, I've talked to some of them. They're great people. Some of them have the things I talk to them about, exactly the same beliefs I have. They're not stupid. Very smart people, for the most part. Now, there's some dumb as doorknobs, I get it. But they're out publicly humiliated financially broke because they know what I'm talking about. A lot of them don't know why. Now they're pinning it on no kings, which makes sense. I understand that. The archaic, the king can do no wrong that came from England is sovereign immunity, which is one of the ways we get rid of the dead hand. You're not sovereign. You need to be held accountable what you do. The dead hand was set up. It's not in the Constitution. Sovereign immunity is not constitutional. It's set up by people in power to keep their dynasty in power, unaffected by the vote, even after they're not in power or dead and gone. Amazing, ain't it? Amazing, ain't it? How these people set up a system. Okay. How they set up a system to benefit themselves and rape society of the value of food, clothes, goods, because they got it all. And they got so much damn money, they're storing it all in a bank for the next generation. Storehouses of great wealth that they haven't worked for. You're working for it. You're putting money in their bank while they're not even in power anymore, because they've rigged the system where they control the person that's in power now to a certain extent, so they can continue to build their wealth even after they're gone for their family and friends. It's a dynasty upheld by sovereign immunity. It's not constitutional. Now we can wipe that damn sovereign immunity off the map. People right now are very concerned about the gerrymandering. That represents the values of the state you're in. You can't do that unless you have a supermajority. You don't get voted into office by sovereign immunity. You get voted into office by the will of the people. Now, the will of the people are voting for their values, and people that claim that they represent your values running on a party ticket, but they do not. They represent the dead hand. The people in power right now, Governor Bill Lee represents the dead hand. And after he's gone, he'll be the dead hand, because he set up the Tennessee Supreme Court. He has put in office four of the 5 Supreme Court justices, a majority. Anything that he wants after he's out of office, he's going to get, because these justices know that these people have fooled the public and they have gave them their position. So by default, they go along with the fooling, with you being tricked, and rule for the governor, because the next one will be able to pull the same trick. Same dog and pony show. Stand up and wag that tail, beautiful, and say, we're for you, we have your values. No, they don't. They don't have any of your values. They deserve an Oscar for how well they lie. But you can tell by what they do when they got the power in office. And what they do is represent the dynasty, the dead hand, people that are already gone run the government. And until we break that cycle of violence against us, and it's very violent against us, they're very violent, dangerous people. And they say I am. How do I know that? They claim I am. Whatever they say I'm doing is because they thought it up, because they're the ones doing it. How do you get that somebody else is doing something that they're not without you getting an ideal from looking in the damn mirror? So you put that on somebody else. And that's anything they've said about me, I guarantee you I can prove they're doing that. That's where they came up with it. It didn't come out of the sky, it came out of their own actions. So just remember that when they're accusing Charles Van Morgan of some wrong. I'm not doing that wrong, I assure you. I'm promoting nonviolent representation of the population by trying to wake up 3.5 million to go vote. not for somebody that's dead behind the scenes controlling me. My people never were in power, but I hope we're going to be, and we've got some power now. We're using modern technology to get the message out like nobody's seen. They brand it controversial. It's not controversial. It's well accepted. People in government power are dirty as hell. That's a main theme of people. I knocked on about 30,000 doors in 2022, about 10,000 last year in 2024. The government is so crooked. They have succumbed to the dead hand, and it's my fault maybe, and people in power's fault, but we're changing that little by little because we haven't convinced people that there's somebody fighting for them, that their vote will make a difference. Nobody stood up and said that. They've all went along with the dead hands. And that's why we know now what? Yeah, get up and vote. And 3.5 million Tennesseans that have relented for a while because you didn't have a choice to the dead hands. There's a cure. There's a cure. Somebody that will fight for you, and I will. As I said just last night in a forum with people that established the No Kings rally, and I will talk to anyone. I'll talk to people in jail. I'll talk to the governor. They won't talk to me. He won't like what I gotta say. And like I said to them, people, if we can show people we're fighting for them, that I'm fighting for them, that the $3.5 million, 3.5 million people, and if all of them gave me $1, we'd have more than Marsha Blackburn you, for you. I'm fighting for you. I got a jail photograph to prove it. It wasn't a jail photograph because I was doing something wrong. It's a mug shot, just like Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, John Lewis, Lester Roloff, others who did nothing wrong but went against the dead hand, the establishment, archaic rules that mistreat people and cause the cost of living to skyrocket while they store up money in their storehouses so much that they can't even use it, saving it for their future offspring, future cronies, and their future generations. It's the damn dead hand that's running our government right now. They can't even vote. That's how powerful we are. Don't be afraid of the dead hand. It can't punch the voting booth. It can't touch it. They've got you scared a lot or fooled because they're above a party that has your beliefs, but they don't have it. It's a dog and pony show. Because look what they do. Don't look what they say. When they get in power, look at the actions that they take. Or is your cost of food going down? Right now, the cost of living skyrocketed, according to math, not my making it up, at levels of 2022 during the pandemic. And the only excuse they can use is the war, the straits, and the oil being shut. That's 5% of the oil. And America doesn't even get any of that oil. That's not the reason. They're using that excuse to get more of your money, to take more of it. Some people in government power have even said that. There's no reason why gas should be going up. These rich oil companies are getting all the money. Welcome, welcome. Let's see how many people we got in here. They're getting all the money, reaping all the benefits, making more money, putting it in the storehouses. As one prime example, the emergency fund in the state of Tennessee, their storehouse, storing up money for them. It's not for you. The emergency fund, now it's got some legal terminology, I'm sure. I haven't read it, but basically the way they would explain it, if they have a major disaster in the state of Tennessee, an earthquake, hurricane, tornado, bad storm, or something that horrific happens to the mass populace, you, and this is the way they'll explain it and justify it, then they use that emergency fund to supplement the disaster. So it's for you, is what they would tell you. But it's not. It's not. Not at all. They increased the emergency fund in the past budget. Bill Lee increased the emergency fund, the soon-to-be dead hand. And he's backing the dead hand. He's backing Bill Haslam that helped him get elected. He's still in power, Bill Haslam. He's still controlling the governor's office because he's got the money. He's got the storehouse from getting it from you. It's not his money, it's your money. And that's not socialism, that's the truth. He lowered his taxes. He didn't raise his taxes where he had to pay more into the mass populace, the system, to pay his fair share. He took your fair share, made your fair share be more than your fair share. You're not paying a fair share, you're paying him almost directly, money going right into his pocket. I mean, that's just the way it is. I have a Master of Arts in Sociology. That's what's going on. It's not capitalism, it's socialism. They say they're against socialism, and they're the worst socialists you ever seen. And they've set up a dead hand to keep it that way for perpetuity, for infinity. Let's stomp on that dead hand. It can't do anything. It's dead. It's a symbol, archaic symbol that we can whip its ass. It can't even fight or punch. It's there to scare you because you got a hand that is not dead. 3.5 million of you that are not fooled. You didn't even vote. Registered or didn't vote. Not registered and didn't vote, or registered and didn't vote. You got a real live hand. They've got a facade. They don't have the votes. They got a dead hand that they're following. Archaic rules where they suck all the money, take all the property, take all the food, take everything, store it up in their emergency fund, that's just one of them, and say, this is for you. Trust us. Pet the snake. This is for you. Yeah, right. How's it going, is it? We have a major food crisis in the state of Tennessee. Little children going without food. They won't even take free money that we paid in tax money from the federal government. Doesn't help the dead hand. They're not worried about it. Doesn't help their entourage. Doesn't help their political dynasty. So quite frankly, they're telling you to kiss their ass. They're giving you the bird. They're giving 3.5 million Tennesseans the bird, and 3.5 million Tennesseans have said, well, it doesn't matter. You know, there's nobody fighting for us. And they say they are. No, they're not. The emergency fund set up for you. We're having an emergency right now. They didn't pay it out. It ought to be going down. Food's costing more. People are going without food. People have problems buying gas to get to work. Why not release the emergency fund? They didn't release it. They raised it. You know why they raised it? They're not having a hard time economically. Their gas prices are rock bottom. They pay nothing for it almost. They pay the cost of it. They pay what you should be paying for it. These government vehicles don't pay no gas tax. They get gas at a government arranged deal, and you're even paying for their gas through taxes. They don't pay their fair share. They pay rock bottom. They pay right now, and the dead hand, people that ain't even in office, their families controlling the government, they pay what technology has really lowered the price to, that you and me should be paying. We should be living in the golden age right now. They are, we're not. Technology has lowered the cost of things. The emergency fund that we should be getting right now we wouldn't even have high food prices. They've created the system that has caused that because they are reaping benefits that they should not reap. And the emergency fund is a fund that's increased set up not to pay out during an emergency. Now they'll breadcrumb you during a horrific event, pay somebody a few dollars to keep their nose above water long enough to survive so that they can keep paying them more money and work for them. But the emergency fund is for them. It's their emergency fund. It's the dead hand's emergency fund and their entourage, people that have backed up the dynasty. It's not for you. That's the reason why they're increasing it when they should be relenting to some of it and even paying for some of the roads and bridges, the infrastructure that keeps us going. They're not even good for themselves. They ought to be using that emergency fund to fix the Gay Street Bridge. Why wouldn't they? That lowers the cost of food, makes a bigger and better, stronger infrastructure, and other places across Tennessee that the infrastructure is crumbling. It's an emergency. They haven't increased the fund significantly enough to make it easier for you to go where you're going because they don't live in your neighborhoods. They don't live the life that you do. They live in their separated little dynasty places that have huge houses and huge infrastructures and separated from us. Like Cameron Sexton has his own damn neighborhood that he owns. Gated, closed, where they live at. Their roads are paved. Their hospitals are the most highly technological hospitals you could find. They get the best health care in the damn world. They live longer, politicians live longer than anybody on the planet in the United States of America. They die in their 90s. You know why? It's because of the dead hand. They got it set up for them, for all of them, their families, their entourage, their friends, the people that keep the facade that are relatively few in number compared to you. They got the system rigged, not capitalism, socialism, for them. They're having a free ride, living the high life. They enjoy every damn bit of it, and they intend to keep it that way. And they're going to, without intervention. And anybody that dare lift up their voice in opposition to their public corruption, that's a death sentence when they're closing down hospitals all throughout Tennessee. People die young for lack of medical care while they're living into their damn 90s, have the best medical care money could buy throughout the whole world, politicians in the United States. And you don't even have a hospital to go to in some of your counties. Young people dying early, it's a death sentence. They're giving you a death sentence and calling it good government while they're increasing the emergency fund for them, taking it from you, raising it in a time where they've raped society so much we can't afford to live. And they're going to continue doing that. And anybody that raises their voice against that is subject to being beat up and jailed, humiliated. People avoid them. Go with it. I answer to God ultimately, and I'll keep doing it. And waking up 3.5 million people. And we can convert some of the million that voted for a liar, a self-professed, proclaimed Christian that goes against every Christian value almost that I can name. Now, I don't know his heart, but I know he's subject to judgment, and he facilitates the dead hand, and he's got a good grip on it right now because he controls the judiciary. And we control them ultimately with the damn vote. Look at the beautiful view. Thank you all for coming in. Wow, over 100 people. So, help me get this message out. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you like standing up against the dead hand, and it can't hurt you. It can't hurt you. They can't vote. We can. And also, if you can contribute, help me fund the message. Fund the message with your donations. Go to Antidote. I'm not funded by corporations. I'm funded by myself and you, the people, and we're going to get the message out. We're going to get it out on a shoestring budget. We've done it before. We'll do it some more. Till God calls me home, I'll proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ and proclaim the safety, health, protection, and well-being of the mass populace of Tennesseans against the dead hand that we're talking about right now, against people in power right now that seek to build wealth, build power, build a dynasty for themselves at your demise. And it is getting so horrific right now in the cost of things without a justified explanation. It's getting hard for them to cover up their dirty. It smells pretty damn bad what they're doing. And hopefully, I don't know, my job is to put the message out. It's your privilege to decide whatever you want to. If I'm making sense to you, subscribe to the channel and share it. And we're going to go on and talk about some really important things in the news and tell you directly about the dead hand. Get to our signature location. In the news today, here in Knox County, alarmingly, not surprisingly, to me anyway, there are 11 Knox County Sheriff's deputies presently on the job, and some formerly, are being charged with several state felonies for theft. They were in the drug unit or had access to the drug unit at the Knox County Sheriff's Department. Now that's the unit that, this is the way it works. They're concerned not about drugs, about the money that drugs facilitate. They don't want to get drugs off the street. And this is just an example of how they do it. They want to get the money from the drugs in their personal pockets. And the dead hand for them has been eliminated, at least to this point. It will help them in court. But they were stealing, accused, they haven't been convicted, accused of stealing money that they have confiscated from people selling drugs, from forfeitures. So they have a fund where when they stop somebody with drugs and money, there's a law in Tennessee, if it's money from the proceeds of the drugs, like they sell drugs and get money, a thug out here, that's what they think, and they are if they're living off selling drugs that kill people. So they take the money, which is what they're concerned about. They're not concerned about the drugs. Some of them want the drugs out here. It's making them money because they stop the drug dealer and rob him. They don't take the drugs. I mean, they do, they destroy it. We got to make it look good. We're getting drugs off the street. No, they're not. They're getting money from the sale of drugs and taking it home and using it. That's what they're accused of. Alarming. I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all. When I was in law enforcement, I was too busy making the roads safe where less people were dead. The roads weren't bloody. They're not worried about that. According to the accusation, they're worried about the proceeds from the drug sales. Not worried about death that drugs cause or people getting addicted. They're arresting people taking the money, putting in an account at the sheriff's department, and even alleging the sheriff was involved. Now, I don't doubt it. I'll say one thing, I bet he won't do a day in jail. The drug dealer that they stole the money from, they robbed out on the street under the pretext of we're the law trying to protect society when they're just robbing the money from him. He went to jail. The person that they robbed the money from and took their drugs and probably poured it out, and didn't arrest the whole entourage of drug dealers because they got to have a few out, wait till they get the money, and then they'll get them. Put it in their drug fund and then take it home. That's what they're accused of doing. 11 Knox County Sheriff's deputies. It's 12 that they know of. One was already convicted, being sentenced. So thanks for the contribution. Like, share, and contribute. We're watching the Charles Van Morgan Show, watching the dead hand. So we're looking at the dead hand kind of peter out. So what's happening is they sit on the interstate, and this is well documented. They sit on the interstate and they monitor the eastbound here on 40, and excuse me, they leave the eastbound traffic and the northbound on 75 open, because that's the drugs traveling up from Florida all throughout the United States of America. And the southbound, they've sold the money. The southbound is the money going back in cars to the major operations that are illicitly have drug companies and selling drugs throughout the whole United States. Because the northbound traffic takes the drugs without the money. They're going to sell it. So when an officer stops them guarding the northbound, and you can look on the interstate, they're not guarding the northbound. They may have caught on a little bit that the news media is watching, because that's where they get the drugs and they get no benefit from it. And this is the drug unit here in Knox County. This is what one symptom of what they're doing. You can see in real time. And the southbound, where the money's going, they got officers set up doing drug interdiction. It's money interdiction, confiscating the money. Because in Tennessee, if it's money they can prove or allege, even without criminal charges, that's bought from the proceeds of drugs. They even confiscate people's houses if it's bought or used for the facilitation of the illicit sale of drugs. The government, law enforcement, can take that money and put it in a fund. And this is what they're alleged doing. Retired, the dead hand's not there anymore. And so the dead hand's kind of petered out. I guess it's the rap, rule against perpetuities. It's been a few years and they're not in power anymore as far as being charged with some of this heinous stuff they're doing. Some of them probably still have property at their house that they stole when they were in office from the drug fund. So they're monitoring the southbound lane of the interstate to drug interdiction, which is funds interdiction for my new house or my car or my watch, for the police officer, bosses, because they're stopping people going south because they got the money south. The drugs go north, the money comes back south. They interdict the money and seize it with forfeiture warrants. Don't even have to charge a person, it's easy to do. Burden of proof is 51% tip in the scale. Easy burden of proof. You get a pop of several $1 million sometimes because drugs are high, and people addicted, they'll steal whatever to get the money. So the money's coming back in a car going southbound back to Florida or the coast where the money comes in, where the drugs come in and the money goes down to other countries and everything, and it gets interdicted by sheriff's departments. They're not sitting on the northbound side. The money go up there, get the money, get it, come back down here. We got you down here. I mean, they're notoriously on the southbound side of the interstate. Not interdicting drugs, interdicting money from the proceeds of drugs that goes to law enforcement that evidently, according to this new indictment, they use that drug fund money, 51%. They ain't got to have a charge. They ain't got to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. They ain't got to charge a person. They have to sign their name, sign the forfeiture warrant. It's a pink form. Write out that their evidence that the money, the $10,000 or $1 million, was used to facilitate drugs because a drug dog hit on the car, and the drug dog hits on every car. And the courts have said, because of the dead hand, if a drug dog hits on your car, they get to search your car. So they get to search every car by proxy because the drug dog gets on every damn car. I'd like to see one car that a drug dog comes out to and doesn't hit on the car. It don't happen, I don't think. Show me one. It doesn't happen, it hits on every car. And they got money in it, that dog's gonna hit. It, you know, yeah, there's money, there's drugs in there. No drugs. Sometimes, you know, there's residue though. Yeah. And maybe a little marijuana in a back floorboard that a passenger smoked. They get the damn money, and they're not going to court where they got to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It's 51% tip in the scale. We stopped the car going south on 75. Why didn't they stop the one going north? That's no benefit to them. And there was a odor of marijuana in the car, and we called a drug dog out. They got to get there pretty quick, within like about 10 minutes, or it's violating the Fourth Amendment. And you know, they got one right upstage. They're ready to leech that money. They got it rigged. I'm telling you, it's the government. They're doing this to you. And, you know, even if it's your inheritance, they've taken people's inheritance. They have a damn thing to do with drugs. And the attorneys in the state try to keep it anyway, even if they know. Appeal. I mean, even if the officer has a conscience and said, well, it wasn't drugs, I was wrong. The prosecutor in Knoxville, the prosecutor for the federal government, Department of Safety, for the Department of Safety in Tennessee, will say, no, we're going to appeal this decision and try to keep money that they know is not anything to do with drugs. That's what they do. I'm telling you the truth. There's documented cases of that happening. And lawyers that took my job from me, same lawyers involved in stealing people's money through illicit drug seizure. So the dog, they got it staged, comes up, hits on the car. No drugs in that car. The dog barks. They get to search it, find $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $5 million, and then they write out a pink slip of paper and say that they stopped the car, it was going, and they can do this. It's called a pretextual stop, perfectly legal. And the intent of the officer to look for drugs or money was what they're really looking for. They won't tell you that. Is irrelevant. They can be out looking for drugs and do a pretextual stop. They stop you for going 71 in a 70. That's 1 mile over the limit. That's a legal stop. Now you can contest that because they were one, that's not much leeway. So that probably gets you at 73, 74, because even if you weren't doing 73, you were at least doing 71, where the 71 is too close to the 70, you could have been mistaken by 1 mile. So they'll try to get it as high as they can. A tail light out. A license plate light out has been determined reason for a stop. And then they go up and they think you got money for whatever reason, or they want to try to find out, checking you southbound on the interstate. And then they say, I smell the odor of marijuana in the car. May I search the car? You say no. Exercise your right. Some people say yes. In the drug interdiction part of law enforcement, they make fun of the populace, the mass populace of citizens. Many of you may have went through this. They'll pull you over on a pretextual stop, say they smell marijuana or see something in the car that they think it might be criminal as a reason to search your car, and ask you for permission to search your car. They say, may I search your car? You don't have anything in there, so you don't have nothing to worry about. You say, so may I search your car? And they make it a joke. It's a joke in law enforcement. You're a joke in law enforcement, because an overwhelming high percentage of people, even if they've got drugs and money or money in their car that's bought from the proceeds of drugs, and even innocent people, will allow law enforcement to search your car. Consent. They have no probable cause. They can't search it without you allowing them, or some consent or some probable cause, which they'll get it by the drug dog, but they don't have it there right then usually, unless they're a canine unit. So overwhelmingly, here's the joke, is that people with money in their car from drug sales or drugs in the car will say, yes, you can search my car. It's almost funny. They think that they're just being nice and going along, and the cop will let them go. You don't have to let a police officer search your car by consent. Now, they can get a warrant, but there's not time in a car, so they're under the different rules as far as the mobility of the car. But they have to have probable cause to believe that there's a reasonable suspicion to believe that there's drugs in the car, something they specifically articulate. We've seen a white powder in a plastic bag in the passenger seat, and white powder all over his nose, and it appeared to be cocaine. Or we've seen a cocaine pipe, and he was acting all nervous and exaggerated movements, like he was high on something with red eyes, and then they got reason. They can search based on that without a warrant. But if you're stone cold sober, the joke is, or if you got money in the car, the joke is people let them search anyway. Well, why would you do that? You don't have to. And they confiscate your money. They write out a pink slip, stop the car, tell license plate light out, or you're riding in the left lane. Did you know? And I've seen this happen. A lot of cars seized. Somebody riding down the interstate in the left lane. There's a law in Tennessee. You can't ride in the left lane unless you're passing another car. You can't just go down the left lane, the fast lane on the interstate. If you can be stopped for that, riding in the left lane without passing another car. You're supposed to ride in the left lane only to pass other vehicles and get in the right lane. So if you're driving down the interstate in the left lane, they can stop you just for that, driving in the left lane. Did you know that? There's all abundant pretextual reasons to stop people, not to protect the public, to try to get money to go in their drug fund. And this is where the fun begins. And when they get the money to go on the drug fund, and here's how they get, they write out that little pink slip and get them to sign their name that they found, stop you for taillight out, suspected drugs might be in the car because they smelled alcohol. They smelled marijuana. And then they had a drug dog within 3 minutes because they got it staged. They came up and the drug dog hit on the car wheel every damn time. I believe that. Now, that's my personal opinion. They won't admit that. The drug only hits on cars or gives a signal when drugs in the car. Yeah, right. Show me one case where they walked around the car and didn't hit. They hit every time. That's what they're for. They hit on the car to give them a reason to search your car while you're doing nothing wrong sometimes. That's what they do. And the court has said if the dog hits on the car, they can search it. So, wow. The courts, the dead hands have said that law needs to be changed. It needs to be more than a dog barking on your car. I can't cross-examine a dog. Hey, dog, you said you found drugs in the car. Do they teach you to hit on that car every time? Yes, that's what they do. That's what I believe. So the dog gets on the car. The person's got money in the car from drugs, the sale of drugs, which is what they want the money. They get $2 million. And, or maybe it's your inheritance. There's no drugs in the car. They take your $11,000 inheritance, which they did on a lady in Sevierville. And they write on the warrant, they think it's drug money because they find some pills and the dog hit on the car. And the pills are prescription pills, or the pills are over the counter. They're not even illegal. And they find the money and they write out the reason why and have you sign it and take your money that it sees, write out how much it is, or how much they say it is. They might be pocketing some right then. That's been known to happen. And then you sign it, and they send you down the road, minus your money. They don't even arrest you. And you got a court date. You can go back to a Department of Safety judge. And wow, isn't that a fair hearing? Wonderful hearing. You'll go before an unbiased judiciary in the state of Tennessee. Ain't that a crock of shit? You'll go before somebody that wants the state of Tennessee budget to increase their retirement. Depends on the budget in the state of Tennessee. That's where they get their livelihood from. Guilty, stamp, put the money in the drug fund. It's just rigged. And even after the dead hand's not even in office, the other judge that's before him listens to the dead hand, they'll take your money. It's that damn dangerous. You're gonna get robbed on a Tennessee roadway by the damn dead hand. We gotta make sure we get our retirement state budget is solvent, because they're paying my thousands and thousands of dollar retirement. I adjudicated against them when I was in office. You do the same damn thing, you got it, the dead hand. So they do. They get your money every time. 51% tipping the scales, and if that 51% ain't there, I know for a fact that, I know for a fact in Tennessee, a lot of those judges in the Tennessee Commission that does the seizure hearing, same one does the trooper rehiring or firing when they bring them up on illicit charges, or good ones that they fire anyway. The firings in Tennessee for law enforcement are not based on whether or not the law enforcement officer did anything wrong or right. They're basing on whether or not the dead hand, the governor wants them gone. If the governor wants them gone, they can be the best officer for public safety in the whole state of Tennessee for decades. They don't care about blood on the roads. The dead hand said, get it done, and they fall in their little crony, crooked, sick, pathetic line. And you'll show you the heart of them, what they're doing here in Knox County, what they've been accused of doing. You make up your own mind. And these judges are the same judges that are run by the governor that get a retirement, that will adjudicate against you when you didn't have any drugs. They'll let them steal your money. A lot of them will. And if the evidence is not there, the 51% is there, they'll lie and put evidence themselves in there that ain't even in there. I know they've done that. The judge that they had set up to adjudicate my wrongful termination, and they want to waterboard me and say, oh, you did wrong, admit it. Well, it's not the truth. Waterboard me on, lying little Russell, ain't gonna work, you're a dirty liar. And the truth matters, that's where they lose their way. I got this little inclination, this knowledge that I believe that God controls things, and you might have your victory for a while, but God's holy word said lying lips last for a moment. It's been a long moment, but damn it, so you don't think I'm preaching. The truth matters. It matters. I love to tell you, I don't care what you say or what verdict you got from one of your damn rogue judges, the truth still matters, still carries weight more than your rogue dirty judge. So in my case, they had a judge set up that had previously adjudicated fairly and put a trooper back to work. He was signed up on the random judge list to hear my case, and they knew in the state of Tennessee, and this is judge will take your money driving down the road, take your inheritance driving down the road. You didn't do anything wrong, they say you did. You want a fair judge to listen to things unbiasedly. I had one probably here in my case. They knew he'd put another trooper back to work. They reassigned a judge, Judge Lefevre, lying dirty judge. Knew they had him in his pocket. He's a dirty judge. I'll say that publicly. That's not defamation, it's true. Judge Randall Lefevre is a dirty, crooked judge. They didn't have enough evidence to prove I did anything wrong because the evidence wasn't there because it didn't happen the way they said. They lied under oath, and I can prove it, and he let them do that, letting a lie under oath be counted as the truth. Isn't that amazing how you can do that? You can win every damn thing you want to if you can lie and say anything you want to. You can adjudicate you went to the moon yesterday and come right back if a judge says, yeah, that's true. You're lying. If you say that under oath, you're lying about that. You didn't go to the moon. You don't have the evidence to fire Charles Van Morgan didn't do a damn thing wrong. In fact, you're damaging and endangering society. In the past 12 years, there's blood all over the roads. The fatality rates skyrocket. They don't care. They went to the moon. The judge stamped it. And he'll even put in the record that the spaceship that you flew in that didn't exist. Put that in the record. Judge Randall Lefevre said there was a light on tail end on the car that I drove past. You screenshot the video. It's not reality. They'll put a spaceship that doesn't exist. The judge will even lie, and they'll get your damn money every damn time. Keep voting for these people. You like your inheritance? It'll be gone. They want it in their drug fund. here in Knox County that they stack it up with money that's not even used for drugs. The dog hit on it. And here's what happened. Breaking news right here in Knoxville. 11 current and former Knox County Sheriff's Office employees were indicted yesterday. Of course, majority of them after they were out of office. And one of them, he didn't win the election that he ran in, so he's not a live hand in power. And former Sheriff J.J. Jones, current Chief David Auburn, both ran for sheriff this year and lost. Over $300,000 stolen using a department credit card. Drug seizure cash. The money that you're going down southbound on the interstate with your mother's inheritance money that she worked all her life and wanted to give you a hand up, justifiably. And thank the good Lord in heaven for some employees that work for the government, people that risk their life, the fire department. So you're going down the road southbound on the interstate, you got your mother's inheritance money, they'll take it. They will take it illegitimately. The dog hit on it. It's on every car. Put it in their drug fund, seizure fund, and they'll get it past the Tennessee judge. They will get it passed. That's their money, goes into the government part of it, pays their retirement when they're gone, the dead hand. And the new judge in there will do it because he knows when he's retired, he's going to get another dead hand. The dead hand's running things. People ain't in power. Let's get rid of them. So they were taking the drug seizure cash and spending it on personal expenses. Deputies using county vehicles and equipment for personal tasks while on the clock. Just like an unindicted, never to be indicted, former major with the Tennessee Highway Patrol that's got the dead hand right now in power from the retirement bench. Yeah, he wants to let me know I'm here. The Tennessee Highway Patrol. So she still controls the Highway Patrol. Retired, the dead hand. Major Stacy Headley's the dead hand. She's not there anymore. She still controls the Highway Patrol. And troopers, watch out. That woman gets mad at you. She'll try to have you and your children killed. Have the news media run around and follow you. She was the public information officer for the news media. She's got friends in the news media. They could do whatever the hell they wanted to do, as long as they wrote good press about her. They're writing good press about her after she's damn gone. Wow, imagine that. That's crooked as hell. So wow, a lot of people. She like, share, and subscribe, and contribute if you can. If you're just joining, we're talking about the dead hand. She's retired major. Now the dead hand, they wrote a proclamation, a government proclamation. This is how they keep the dead hand, about her dad, and mention her in a state government proclamation. That's saying this is a will. This is state will is what it is. That's how they do the proclamation. This is state will. Major Stacy Headley, her daddy did a lot of good things, and we're putting this in a state record forever, past perpetuity. Her family and her entourage are part of the state dynasty. They get all the state benefits. They don't tell you that, but that's what they're saying. These are people, keep your damn hands off them. They're in a state proclamation. So even after they're gone, hey, got that proclamation, you know, we better be good to her. But she's a lying dirtbag and stealing valor and doing all kinds of things against the general orders, but she's in that proclamation. She's in the will. That's a proclamation, or wills, for perpetuity. And she's running state government right now. While she was in the Highway Patrol, right down here at Calhoun's on the River, she used state property and state time, risking your life, taking a trooper off the road, getting drunk people from slamming in your car. I wonder if there's any wrecks that night where people killed. Because she took a trooper, a supervisor, off the road to pick her up drunk and her whole entourage and drive her home. They didn't charge her with any crime. Illicitly using state property. She didn't call an Uber like you and me have to, or a taxi, which I would recommend. She called the state trooper on duty, on the radio. Got on the state radio drunk. That wouldn't happen. Major Heatherly to dispatch. Oh, they pop up. Yes, oh, it's a major. Let's kiss their behind. How about let's go out and protect the public? That's what we're paid to do. Hell no, that's not the way the government works. Dead hands in there. It's still in there. She still runs the government right now. From her hind end sitting at her office in Knoxville, or in I think she lives in North Tennessee. I'm not gonna dox her like she doxed me. The woman, and you say, oh, you're running. She came to my damn house, walked up in my carport, trying to intimidate me. If she comes back, she better learn to dance. I'm just saying, well, you leave me the hell alone and your entourage. I don't believe in violence. I wholeheartedly endorse and believe in self-defense. You try to hurt me, it'll be a long day for you. I damn guarantee you that. You keep your damn hands off me, and you won't sneak up on me. I can smell your nasty stuff coming. You stink. But she runs the state government by the proclamation. They got her name in a proclamation from the state. Major Tracy Trott, the dead hand, he's dead and gone. He's out of here, off the planet, dead. His hand's still up there controlling things. They made a proclamation about him when he retired. Such a great man. So his family, his entourage, if his son ever wanted to be a trooper, oh man, they'd hire him. Wouldn't have to do a damn thing. He could run around drunk. He could stop off at strip joints on duty like a lot of troopers do. Instead of going out and doing their job, they need to hire more, because there's a bunch of them at the strip joints, and there's nobody on the road, so they got to hire more. They don't pull the ones out of the strip joints and say, hey, do your damn job. They say, oh, they can stay at the strip joints because that's my boy, my daddy's boy, my cousin's boy. That's part of the dead hand. They're still in power. They got proclamations, and we'll hire more to put them out on the road because we got so many at the strip joints and out fishing and hunting and building their damn houses. That's how crooked these people are. And her husband still works for the Highway Patrol. Oh, he'll go straight up the chain because he'll be on her side and help run the Department of Safety, help run the state government from the dead hand. Let's get rid of the dead hand. She's got one damn crooked, nasty vote. Let's eliminate that vote with 3.5 million that are going to clobber them at the polls and bury that dead hand for good. So they're using drug seizure, county vehicles and equipment for personal use, just like her. She didn't get charged because the dead hand's still in power for her. TBI and FBI joint investigation, 8 years of theft, 2010 to 2019 is the level of theft, how many years this went on. The theft in 2010 to 2018, excuse me. The dead hand protected itself until it couldn't anymore. Stealing drug money, allegedly. They haven't been convicted now. And it might be, who do they make mad now? The dead hand is defined as, in property law term, the dead controlling the living. In Tennessee politics, it means entrenched power, writing its own rules, appointing its own judges, protecting its own people until the house of cards falls. Today I'm going to show you, and I have shown you and continue if you're just joining, exactly how it's done. Putting people in power to protect the power after they're gone. Tennessee courts. It's one man's court. After he's not in the court, the people he appointed in there, a lot of them much younger, are still going to be adjudicating in Governor Bill Lee and Governor Bill Has-Been's favor against you. It'd be different if he put them in power and they're adjudicating fairly, but I'll tell you right now, I know that they are absolutely not ruling fairly and unbiasedly. They're not. They are adjudicating for foreigners from other countries giving them more rights than you in the state of Tennessee right now because of a dollar bill, because of money. It takes more than $1. They might rob you, give them their way for $1. They're bought pretty cheap. They're pretty cheap people. They're cheap people. You'd think because they got these highfalutin positions that they're highly intelligent, smart. You could buy them off with pennies sometimes, the highest bidder in the court system in the state of Tennessee. And maybe in the federal court system to some extent. I got a live controversy in there right now. Win or lose according to them, regardless of what their adjudication is, I win. I'm fighting them the right way. They're dangerous and violent as hell. They're not just. I hope I win. I may. That's the way you do it. That's God's way. Bill Lee has appointed 4 of 5 Tennessee Supreme Court unjustices. That's what they are. They won't give me a law license, although I've never been convicted of any crime, have stellar morals and ethics. I am a follower of Jesus Christ the best I can. If I do somebody wrong, I will apologize. If I don't, you can waterboard me, have court rulings against me. I'm not going to go along with a lie. That's pretty strong moral ethics. I'll fight the dead hand. They don't. They go along with it. That's why they're fighting me. And I don't care. I'm still doing what I'm doing. It's called having freedom to think and speak. It's a wonderful place, isn't it? And we're going to stop having a wonderful place unless 3.5 million people wake up and vote somebody in office that will stand up for your rights and not theirs. And that's what's going on now. People are electing the dead hand and people aren't going to vote because they don't think anybody's going to stand up for them. And I will. I'll stand up for you. Despite opposition, I got a jail photo to prove it, and the jail photo is one like Dr. Martin Luther King's, one like Rosa Parks, one like John Lewis, one like Lester Roloff's. I got it for doing right. And the proof's in the pudding. You don't see a conviction, do you? Because I would have brought it to a jury, to the public, and they know they couldn't win the lies. They would have had to release the video cam where they lied about stuff. So that's what the dead hand is. A property law term. The rule of perpetuity prevents the dead hand from controlling property in property law. But there's no rule of perpetuity in politics. But I'm putting a rule down right now today. We can stop them from controlling things by change, dramatic change. Vote for somebody they don't want you to. Bill Lee has appointed 4 of the 5 Tennessee Supreme Court justices, 5 of 4, through a commission whose 11 members he personally appoints. The chair of that committee, Commissioner Lang Wiseman, was Lee's own deputy governor and chief counsel from 2019 to 2021. So his person that appoints those commissioners works for him. They pick every damn one of them, hand-picked judiciary, not to be unbiased, to rule for him. Lee's former deputy picks the slate. Lee picks from that slate. The General Assembly has not rejected a single judicial appointment since getting that power in 2014. They won't reject anything he says. Part of the dynasty, keeping the dynasty intact. We do have a wrench that we can throw at the dead hand. It'll knock it down. It's dead. It can't win. By voting. 3.5 million people. Vote these people out. We need a new judiciary. Every damn one of them. The General Assembly is part of the dead hand. That same court writes Rule 7. The bar admission rules I'm challenging right now in federal court as unconstitutional. They won't let me speak out against them. If I do tell the truth, then they won't give me a constitutional right to speak up, and they wouldn't anyway. Going along to get along doesn't work. Lee's newest appointment is Kyle Hickson, joined the Tennessee Supreme Court June 30th. He's a Federal Society member named Skeela Gorsuch and Burnett as his favorite justices. Now, there's nothing wrong with those justices. The problem that's wrong is that Lee appointed him 3 times. So he's Lee's pick because he'll adjudicate in Lee's favor. That's why you won't get a fair hearing in Tennessee. At the trial court level, they have a judge that they want a case through. Then they look at judges. And if it's a judge that adjudicates according to the law, blind justice, which is the way it's supposed to be, facts and law, then they'll flip a judge and get one that has ruled for them in the past. They have the authority and power to do that, like they did to me. If they've got a judge at the trial court level that messes up bad, they think, and rules fairly for you, the state has the money to appeal it to the appeals court level. The appeals court level is a court that's appointed by Governor Lee. And you don't get appointed to the appeals court unless you've adjudicated for the government in the trial court. Now, that's not the way they say it does. This is justice. This is according to the law. I've been to law school. You can take all the damn law, rules of law, the way it's written, the Constitution, and go down here and throw it in the damn river. Matters nada. What matters is who you pay for their political campaigns, who you rule for, even if they're right or wrong. It's rigged. It's a rigged court system. It's not a fair process at all. So if you go into court and you're thinking, man, I didn't do a damn thing wrong. I hate to be charged, but I feel like I'm in pretty good shape. I'm going to get my money back in this seizure warrant. That was my mother's inheritance. Good luck with being right and legal under the law. I got a law degree, that don't matter. Did you go to the judge's re-election campaign and give him a little money? Now, they don't want to tell you that, but I'll tell you that. So here's some UT students. They got a UT garb on. Hello, fellas. Doing my little YouTube show here. So, but they'll adjudicate for the governor that appoints them to a higher position where they're going to get their retirement. And so now he's ruled for the governor long enough where he's on the appeals court. Hello.
How's it going?
And governor, one man's court, dead hand. After he's out of office, if I were to be so fortunate as to win the governor's office, to be able to serve Tennesseans, mass populace, I'd get rid of the dead hand. But I would be under a Tennessee Supreme Court that would be controlled against me by the governor. We'd have to do some investigating and see if they've committed any criminal wrongs and indict some of them. Maybe they'll have to adjudicate from a jail cell if we can't get rid of them. We'll put the pressure on them. I'm a fighter. That's what I do. Fight for right against all opposition. We can get rid of the dead hand. The Tennessee Supreme Court, appointed by Haslam, I bet if I was his son or kid, I'd have my law license, wouldn't I? The Tennessee Supreme Court that he's appointed decides who gets to be a lawyer in the state of Tennessee. They decide foreigners get more rights than you do, a United States citizen with a draft card. December 17, 2024, the United States Supreme Department of Justice issued a formal letter of findings. The Tennessee Board of Law Examiners violated the Americans with Disabilities Act, discriminated against bar applicants for using FDA-approved medication for substance use disorders, forced applicants into $2,000 multi-day evaluations in other states, demanded they stop taking legal medications as a condition of getting law license. The Tennessee Supreme Court called it baseless overreach. The Bill Haslam's court called it baseless overreach. Now, if you'd have been addicted to illicit, illegal drugs or been convicted of a DUI where you endangered society and didn't even tell your law school, and you had ties to Bill Lee, or you didn't go against the dead hand, you'd get your law license in Tennessee, because that helps the establishment, the dynasty. if you are Charles Van Morgan or someone in similar situated that speaks out truthfully for the mass populace of Tennesseans, if they have it their way and their dead hand fools you, I will never get my law license. Not because I did anything wrong, because I did stuff right against a allegedly self-proclaimed Christian governor, but I pray and God hears. And Tracy Trott is off the planet and shouldn't be controlling the rules of law in the state of Tennessee. There's a proclamation about him. He's still in power from the grave. The Tennessee Supreme Court called it baseless overreach. The DOJ closed the investigation, finding you're still in the public record. The board answers to nobody when they do wrong. My case, I passed the Tennessee bar exam. They denied my law license because I criticized judges' decisions wrongfully against me and other people while publicly running for governor. So they will get their public press out about you and their rogue rulings that are false. Happen to come up when I'm running for governor, stand up against them. Not ever accused of stuff before, except for when I have defended myself. I criticize judges publicly for running for office. First Amendment right, true what I said. Went through their own procedures to do it. Their own signed memorandum opinion admits it. First Amendment protected speech. I filed a federal lawsuit, right? Case number 3226 CV 00020. Look it up, it's on the public record. Imagine that. Even if I lose, this is what I do. The truth matters. It's on the record for perpetuity. It might be adjudicated against, but my accusation's there. I wasn't afraid to make it. I'm not afraid to stand up to these people. I'll fight the bear. I've fought the lion and the bear, and I'm still here. I'm not afraid of them. I'm afraid of God. That's their problem with me. And it's on the record. My previous lawsuit against a now dead judge, I sued one of the Supreme Court justices personally. Now, I think I should have won. I didn't, but my accusations against him are on the record. Judge Barker is a dirty Tennessee deceased former judge. Now, they honor him with high heaven, greatest judge in the history of mankind. No, he's not. I know him. I met him. I sat right in front of him, and he denied me a law license illegitimately using my law enforcement career where I justifiably did things right, not including the wreck that they're using against me, other things that I did exactly right, the way I was supposed to, the way I was told to, while my life was at risk in the public protecting people's lives. He used that against me, similar to somebody using the military service of a Vietnam veteran against him. They did that. He's like that. He's a Vietnam, he would have been a Vietnam hater. Somebody stood up against the soldiers that went to Vietnam, I believe, because he stood up against my service while I was out protecting the public, bringing stuff up that had nothing to do with anything. A dirty Tennessee judge, Judge Barker. I made accusations against him. I sued him. I stand behind that. Now, he's deceased now. Imagine that. Dead hand. Still runs the government. They wrote a proclamation about him. When he retired, great judge, and when he died, great judge. No, he's not. No, he's not. I sat right in front of him. What he did to me was dirty. He was a dirty judge. Well, he's got his law license. He's in the dynasty. Yeah, I'm not. And if I ever get in a position of power, I'll use it like I did before to protect the public. That's what you're there for. That's all you're there for. They're there to build their dynasty and get their sovereign immunity. That's archaic and ought to be gone too, because they've misused it. How would he have been if I had mentioned cases that were controversial, that he ruled against, took people's rights? He wouldn't have liked that, but I'm wide open, right? That's what's good for you, but don't do that to us. The Board of Law Examiners is literally saying in their opinion, you can look on the record, read it, you can get it, download it. The reason they're not giving me my law license, one of them, among many absurd reasons, it blows my mind, the unconstitutionality of their decisions. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about any of your rights. I have offended them because I have rights and I've exercised them. And you will not exercise your rights in the state of Tennessee, damn it. We will shut you up. Yeah, well, excuse me. Waterboarding ain't working. They literally say in their opinion. Now get this, let me set the stage. They are practicing attorneys on the Board of Law Examiners. He was a former Supreme Court justice. And they are getting money from filing lawsuits. They file lawsuits every damn day. And they don't even need the money. He was retired, he didn't need the money. Making more money, building up that dynasty, more and more money. Well, I'm struggling. You know, I was driving a taxi, trying to get my law license after I've been to law school, and they treated me like a criminal. I'm not a criminal, never been convicted of any crime. They had a criminal on the board right then that was later convicted though. That's them, they were criminals while they were treating me like a criminal. And they do, they'll treat you like a criminal while they're robbing you. You know, imagine that. That's the way they do. I'm just telling you the way it is. It's scary. The state government should scare the hell out of you. I'm not saying be so scared that you're afraid to move. Move down to the damn polls. they're gonna get you. That's what they're out for. Especially somebody that stands up against them. Hopefully I got a lot of eyes listening to me that won't matter. But they literally adjudicated that I can't have my law license. Now they're suing every day because I sued them, and they'll sue you. That's okay, but don't sue them. They won't give you a law license if you exercise your right and sue them, which is the right way to handle things. You don't go out on the street and fight things out with somebody, punch them in the mouth and shoot them with a gun. And violence is not the way to handle things. I abhor and detest that. That's what courts are for. You go in and you settle your differences peacefully, writing out your complaint and in front of a supposedly unbiased judge and deal with things in that manner. That's the right way to do things. You sue people. You don't beat them up. That's appropriate. Somebody says somebody filed a lawsuit. Oh, that's bad. No, it's not. They didn't kill them. They didn't shoot them. If it's a frivolous lawsuit, the judge should dismiss it and punish them for filing a frivolous lawsuit. And there's mechanism for that. A lawsuit is a good thing compared to what could happen. Now, disputes aren't good. They're going to happen. We're in a real world. People see things differently. Lawyers are wonderful people when they do right. They represent a war in the courts, a war where you argue things out, present your evidence. It is civilized warfare because we don't want uncivilized warfare. But they do because I can't sue them. So what am I supposed to do? Now I will never resort to violence. Boy, they mow that yard every day. I will never resort to violence. So, but resorting to the courts is appropriate, the way to handle things. And they tell me, we can sue you in court and we can also chase you down the road. Because one of the board members did that when I stood up and spoke out against him, tried to in a forum of a judicial appointing forum where it said the public was invited, and he tries to chase me down the road. They're violent people. They don't just handle things in court by suing people. They handle things violently too. Don't let them fool you. They're violent people. Violent, dangerous thugs dressed in robes in the state of Tennessee. That's what they are. They told me not to say that. That's why I'm saying it more. Because they told me, when I said that, they squeal, oh, don't say that about us. They squeal like pigs. So when they tell you not to do something, if it's not illegal, do it. Make them squeal like pigs. That's what they are. They're disgusting people, despicable. And I progress and they digress. So one of the reasons they won't give me my law license is because I filed a legitimate civil lawsuit against them. That wasn't even dismissed on the merits, was dismissed on a technicality issue that was never been, and none of my legal stuff, and this one might, I don't know, has never been adjudicated as frivolous. So they told me, sending me a message trying to say, the reason why we won't give you your law license is because you sued us. Don't sue us. We can sue you. We sue people every day. But we can do that. We're better than everybody else. And the dead hand is better. Powerful dead hand. No, it's not. Trample on that dead hand. Kick it out of the way. It's dead. It won't hurt you. They won't hurt you. They can't hurt you. There's not enough of them. They're weak. And they're disgusting. They're gluttonous for power. I'm clobbering them, I hope. Help me. Subscribe, share, like, and contribute. Help me get this message out. It's powerful. No one speaks like I do. And no one's been prepared. I got some real scars. It's real. It's from the heart and from the scars. I'm speaking hunkered down in the battle. This is real. It's not fake. Trying to get you on board. If you don't believe me, I can't help you. I'm just spitting out the truth. I've been out on the road with my life in real danger and had dirty judges in a safe courtroom spit on me. And we're going to give it back. I'm not like that. I won't spit on them. I'll sue them and sue the hell out of them. Again, I got a case right now, and it's already been adjudicated thus far as not frivolous. And they'll use this against me for filing a non-frivolous lawsuit saying they violated my constitutional rights by saying that I don't have access to the court against them. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do, for an injunction to prevent them in the future from continuing to violate my constitutional civil rights. I get a little smarter and organize my legitimate lawsuit, because that's exactly what they're doing, framing it consistent with what's allowed by the law. Thank you very much. They can squeal all they want to. I'm still suing them. It's still on. I ain't going anywhere. That's what I do. They don't understand that. They don't want the fight. They want the victory. I want both. I enjoy the fight. That's all right with me. That's my turf. You jumped on the wrong, you came in the wrong ring this time. You're fighting the wrong battle. I grew up as a fatherless child. I know how to fight without an entourage of people helping me, arming me. I can do it with little to none. I've done it all my life. 3.5 million people get on board. So we have, and I want to mention this, Tennessee convictions reversed. Not very many. They'll keep you in jail. The significant, interesting fact about this bridge, the Henley Bridge. A lot of people call it the Henley Street Bridge. It's not the Henley Street Bridge, it's the Henley Bridge. The other one is the Gay Street Bridge, and it's not even a bridge now, it's closed down. You can only walk across it. Mike Johnson, Knoxville, right here in Knox County, Mike Johnson, convicted in 2011 of brutal murdering 24-year-old Carrie Daughtry. He fled police and drove right here to this bridge and ran out of his car and was attempting to jump over the bridge, evidently, and was arrested, grabbed before he jumped over, right here on this Henley Bridge. And his case was overturned. His case was overturned by the appeals court and sent back to trial. What a trial court adjudicated, and he was convicted again. But he ran right to this bridge after he murdered somebody trying to jump off this bridge. He grabbed the rail officer, pulled him back from the edge, arrested right here. Then the Tennessee Court of Criminal Appeals reversed the conviction in 2021 because of ineffective assistance of counsel. His own defense attorney said that, and he probably feels bad for him. Forgot about a damage report, fumbled the expert witness, and admitted he was not effective. Of course he will. He's trying to give him a new trial the best he can, even at his own demise. Said he violated his right to counsel, and the system failed. Carrie Daughtry, the murderer, twice. So the Knox County Sheriff's deputy's being indicted by a grand jury here in Knoxville for stealing drug money, allegedly. Now, a grand jury can indict a ham sandwich. Because that's just one side of the argument. So it ain't over yet. And I guarantee you, even if these people are guilty, they were part of the system of power. They won't do a day in jail. If you stole the same amount of money, it wouldn't have took them this long to jack you up. Even if you didn't steal money and you're completely innocent, they'll jack you up, and it won't take them that long to put an innocent person in jail. The court systems are set up to deal with innocent people. You get railroaded into jail too. Now, they don't have me saying that's true. Historical fact. Innocent people go to jail, spend 20, 30, 40 years. Some of them get out, some of them die in jail. They weren't guilty. The system's set up a lot by the dead hand to put innocent people that ain't part of the dynasty in jail. And if that's the way you want it, that's the way you like it, it's okay with you, you don't think you'll go keep on voting that way. Hey, it'll happen. It'll come to fruition. It already is. Your best bet is to vote. So in the news today is Murda, the South Carolina Murda family. He ran the prosecutor's office from 1920 to 2006, the dead hand. 86 years, father to son, son to son. They were the law, both sides of it. Their own descendants go on trial for a double murder. Court clerk Becky Hill tampers with the jury, tells jurors not to be fooled by his attorneys, tells the deliberations shouldn't take long. South Carolina Supreme Court throws out the conviction May 13, 2026. Unanimous, all 5 justices. The dead hand corrupted itself. Now, from a legal standpoint, what happened in South Carolina, Mr. Murdoch, if I'm saying this wrong, right, Murdoch, and it's spelled M-U-R-D-A-U-G-H, Murdoch, was a lawyer, and his family were lawyers in South Carolina for years, running the district attorney's office. And they had power over the judicial system, and he was an attorney, and he evidently got in some financial trouble because he was stealing people's money on drugs. He blames it on drugs and stealing clients' money. And in order to cover up, and he's presumed guilty now. I mean, he's presumed innocent now. He was presumed guilty because they got a conviction on him. Now he's presumed innocent. And he went on trial and was convicted. He got into financial trouble, and his wife evidently was going to divorce him. And his son had hung him out because he was drunk and had a boat wreck, and he was being sued because of his son. He was underage and his drunkenness, and his son killed a woman by boating under the influence. So Mr. Murder was being sued. I'll just call him Mr. Murderer. He was being sued because of his son's mess up, and they were having to get his financial records, which showed he was stealing from clients. He stole money from a settlement from a man in a wheelchair, and horrific, stealing people's money. It was greed. And then his wife was going to divorce him because his son's wreck was causing the financial records to be released. And so he went out accusedly now to the kennels where his wife and son were at, and his son recorded his voice on his cell phone at the kennels, unbeknownst to Mr. Murder, who later testified that he wasn't out at the kennels with them, the dog kennels, that he came out after the fact, but they got his voice on his son's phone that he was out there, so he lied about that. So he's out there with them. Why would he say he wasn't? But he killed both of them allegedly now with a shotgun and another gun, because he wanted to act like it was two different guns, more people, and he did it both, I believe. Allegedly now. So he shot his son, blew his brains out of his son, allegedly, and shot his wife on the ground from the back multiple times. A brutal murder. Whoever did it, I believe he did, said he wasn't out there, came up on the scene later. His sons got him on record while he was out there, so he was out there with them, said he wasn't. That part I do know. But he killed him, and he got convicted by a jury. Convicted him, sent him to prison all his life. Should have been executed. Can't retry a dead man. They can put a proclamation that he's not, his sentence was overturned. He's still dead. But a court clerk tampered with the jury. And even if this man's guilty, he was presumed guilty after he was tried. Now he's not, after he was convicted. Now he's not, because of the fact that a Supreme Court, not a jury, has overturned the verdict. And this is why, and it's just. People don't like it, but it's just. I wish Tennessee courts were this just. Because the court clerk biased the jury, attempted to. One of them said that it did influence our decision. In America, we have this thing called the Constitution, and everybody has a right, according to the constitutional amendments, to a fair trial. Even guilty people have to have a fair trial. If you convict a guilty person with an unfair trial, you got to redo it around it. Where do you draw the line? The line is drawn with even the guilty having a fair trial. If they don't, you have to retry them again. That's fair, that's justice. Because of the fact, a lot of people don't understand, if you allow guilty people not to have a fair trial, then how do you know they're guilty, and where do you draw the line? I'll tell you where you draw the line. This is where the South Carolina Supreme Court drew it. A fair trial for everybody, across the board, guilty or innocent. If you have a trial and get a conviction that wasn't done fairly because you outside influenced the jury, which is well documented reversible error, then you have another trial. And that's exactly what the South Carolina Supreme Court did. They overturned a corrupted verdict that was not fair, because the court clerk mentioned to the people in the jury, Becky Hill, that the deliberations shouldn't take long, and that told the jurors not to be fooled by his attorneys. And legally, any internal conflict by the jury members, almost to the point of fighting, and arguments, heated arguments, and cussing and whatever while the deliberations, cannot be reason to overturn a jury verdict. Internal stuff, it's allowed. What overturns a jury verdict is external information that gets to the jury outside what goes on in the courtroom. External information that biases a jury. And the court clerk knew that. And she's biasing the jury. Crooked as hell. So the whole case fell because of a crooked government person that tells the jury stuff they have no business hearing, and he'll be tried again. Now that's not politically correct. A Supreme Court overturns a jury verdict for the right reasons is absolutely positively the right thing to do. Even if he's a murderer, probably like that murderer here that ended up on this very bridge. Appeals court overturned his conviction because his attorney says he didn't do the case that he should have done. He got retried right here in Knox County. They convicted him again. So McDurr may be convicted again, but it's the right thing to do to retry him. You got to have a fair trial, even if you're guilty, because if you don't, how do you know he's really guilty? And you start giving innocent people unfair trials. Retry it again, absolutely, positively. External bias information on a jury does it every time. So the lady already pled guilty. Another case, there are just court decisions. Bill Cosby, everybody remember the Bill Cosby case where he raped, he drugged women, got them unconscious where they couldn't defend themselves, gave them drugs surreptitiously in their drinks and stuff, where they were unconscious or half unconscious, not able to react. And then he raped them, had sex with them without their consent, rape, while they were drugged, numerous women. Who would believe Bill Cosby raped me? He got by with those rapes for years. He got by with those rapes for years and years. And in Pennsylvania, 2025, if you'll remember, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned Bill Cosby's conviction for rapes. Horrific. Those ladies came in and testified, and a jury overturned the convictions because the Constitution is a valuable document. It's our agreement with the government, people in government power. They're more powerful than us. But that piece of paper that gives us our rights beats bullets, prosecutors, everybody. You don't violate the Constitution, no matter who you are. So Bill Cosby, District Attorney Bruce Castor publicly announced he would never prosecute Bill Cosby. So Bill Cosby is being sued in civil court for raping women. They brought lawsuits against him. Civil as opposed to criminal. Civil is about a person himself brings an accusation against somebody, even criminal violations, and demands money from them, which justifiably, you commit a crime against me, I got a right to get the money to recompense me for that. Sues them civilly in civil court. They hadn't charged him criminally yet and have the evidence. And the Bill Cosby, when he's going into civil depositions, is relying on the Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Because even in civil depositions, if you're testifying and your testimony will incriminate you and subject you to criminal prosecution, you can say that you don't want to answer based on your right not to incriminate yourself, the Fifth Amendment, based on the Fifth Amendment. Your attorney has advised you, how they say it, to exercise my Fifth Amendment right. And you can refuse to answer that question that can incriminate you criminally, bring you up on criminal charges. If you don't have to admit to a crime. In America, if the government wants to accuse us of something, we don't have to help them. If they can't prove it without our help, they don't get a charge. They have to go do their own work, prove their own case without our assistance. You have the right not to testify against yourself in America. That's a wonderful right. And you don't have to help the government. They could be bringing false charges. You don't have to help them bring up false charges. But Bill Cosby was going into depositions, being asked about these rape, and all he had to do is say the Fifth Amendment, because if he admitted to the rapes, and he's under oath, he's got to tell the truth, then he would have incriminated himself. So he says that I exercise my Fifth Amendment right, and doesn't answer the question. In order to get him to answer questions, the district attorney told him publicly, Bruce Castor announced publicly, criminal charges are off the table, Bill Cosby. You're not subjecting yourself to criminal charges, so you have to answer the question, because the only reason why you can claim the Fifth is it opens you up to criminal charges. We're never going to charge you criminally, so you can't claim the Fifth. So he has to answer the questions. He goes into depositions and answers the questions honestly about what he did in raping these women and drugging them. Now that would have subject him to criminal charges, howbeit that Bruce Castor said they weren't going to charge him, so he had to answer the questions under oath. And he answered them. And then later, they bring him up on charges anyway and use his testimony in the civil depositions, violating his Fifth Amendment right. He would have never testified, but they told him he wouldn't. Cosby relies on that promise, gives 4 civil depositions, never invokes the Fifth Amendment right, makes incriminating statements. 10 years later, prosecutes that same testimony to convict him. So they use the civil deposition testimony to tell the jury this is what he said. He admitted it in a criminal court. So he helped the state prosecute himself. Would not have, but they took his Fifth Amendment off the table. He testified and then put it right back in there. So they just flop and switch the Fifth Amendment. What does the court say? Is the Constitution important? It is. It's very important. Exercise it. I love the Constitution. It's wonderful. Protects you from the mass millions and billions of military equipment, law enforcement, that this country will annihilate you without that piece of paper. Because it says here, government's got to stop. The tanks, the military equipment, the prosecutor, it's got to stop because of that piece of paper. Those words on paper are amazing. Good to know them. I do, thank the good Lord in heaven, benefited me with that knowledge. I'm trying to stop the Tennessee Board of Law Examiners with that document, Constitution, all the power and the lies and the force of the Tennessee Supreme Court, the Board of Law Examiners. I'm trying to say, wait a minute, Constitution says I can say stuff about you if I damn want to, and you still can't justify taking away even a privilege by banking that on my constitutional rights. Because you exercise the constitutional right, we're not going to give you this privilege. So Bill Cosby testifies. 10 years later, prosecutes that testimony to convict him. So the Fifth Amendment didn't matter. It don't matter. It's not important. Listen to what judiciary appropriately, and I hate that he was able to do that, but you can't violate the Constitution and get in your prosecutions. You got to get them based on the rules of law. They matter. Do they? Let's see. Sometimes Pennsylvania Supreme Court throws out the conviction June 30th, 2021. Reason, due to process. Fifth Amendment, 14th Amendment. You cannot strip a man of a constitutional right through a promise and then use what he said against him. That's government broke its word. The Constitution says no, you can't violate the Constitution, at least in Pennsylvania, and get people convicted. That's not a political decision. That's a legal, just decision that applies to all, even if you're guilty. Excuse me, I don't apologize. In America, that's the way we play. We don't give the people in power the dead hand, unfettered right to do whatever the hell they want to. Let's get up and stand on the Constitution. They got you scared. 3 cases, South Carolina, Pennsylvania, and some in Tennessee. Different facts, same principle. Guilt or innocence does not determine your right to a fair process, unless you're Charles Van Morgan with the Board of Tennessee Law Examiners and other people. The process is the right. When government officials corrupt that process, a court clerk, a prosecutor, a board that punishes free speech, the Constitution demands the dead hand go away and demands accountability. The Constitution demands accountability. That accountability is what the dead hand fears most. Knox County Sheriff's Office, 11 indicted, the dead hand losing his script right here, right at home. They're not in power anymore. They're losing their dead hand. Bill Lee's court, 4 of 5 justices writing rules I'm challenging in federal court. I'm a walking, talking billboard of mistreatment and how you ought to handle it. you fight back right. As my mother used to say, Lord, don't let might beat right. Don't let might beat the Constitution. Blood, people's deaths, soldiers were killed in war fighting for our way of life, and that way of life is the Constitution. How dare they trample on soldiers' blood and take those rights away? That's our way of life. You don't like the Constitution? We'll fight you too. The board that punishes me for speaking the truth now has a federal case to answer to. Hopefully, McDurr reversed, Cosby reversed, dead hands lose their grip. That's the law of history. That's the law of God. November 3rd, 2026 is the day, if you elect me in office, that Constitution will be followed even against me when I'm in power. You don't have a right over the Constitution because you get elected. And your dynasty before you don't have rights over the Constitution before they get elected. After they're out of office, they shouldn't control the state government like they do. There are 3.5 million people who didn't participate in the election in 2022. If we wake up a small percentage of those people and tell you you're going to have constitutional rights, you don't have them right now. You don't. If I had my constitutional rights, I wouldn't be having to fight them in federal court. They're trying to run the time out. Wake up, Tennessee. And a lot of it's not your fault. You have not had anybody to stand up for you. I'm willing and doing that right now. And asking you to please help. I'll be just fine either way. My job's putting out the message. Don't let the dead hand, the dynasty of the dead hand, control you. It doesn't in property law, the rule against perpetuities. Let's put down our rule against perpetuities for the dynasty and state power at the polls on November 3rd and show up in the masses, even if we don't win. I know that's a good possibility. At least show them in great numbers that we're out here getting woke up and that we are listening and that we might not have got over the goal line, and we damn sure may, but we got 9 yards towards the first down and we're still moving forward. We're not going anywhere. And your dead hand doesn't fool us. Thank you all very much for joining. Like, share, comment. May God bless you all. And we'll try to be back on here next week, maybe Monday morning. If there's any live news showing up between now and then we will broadcast live at the center of the news the best we can, safely, if we can, without interfering. And I'm not a First Amendment auditor. I don't film people that ask me not to film them unless they put me in a position where I need to. So may God bless you all, and as I always try to say, as you look at the beautiful view, God loves you and I do too.